a couple things to it since the last time you've seen it. I'm going to get a little parts list together for the bike. You've seen it running. I just got to go over a couple more things. I've been through the transmission. Took the side cover off here. These bikes are known for the shift pucks in the transmission that go bad from sitting for a long time. They deteriorate in the fluid. Pucks in this bike are okay. They're going to work for right now. I do plan on changing them very soon. I got a little cap in here I found. The bike sat so long that the plug was deteriorating. It was in there. Also, put a new starter clutch cable on it here that engages the starter clutch in the engine when you pedal it over. It makes the engine start up. Added a throttle cable to the bike. That all works nice and good. Put a nice carburetor on there, clean that all up, put that together for it. Still got to pull the ignition off so I can clean it up. It's pretty gross. Do not like that at all. Bike also needs a fuel petcock. Doesn't have a petcock. I'm going to put one of those on it. Got to clean out the gas tank. Throttle works nice and smooth, very buttery smooth. Got the front brake lever. It's missing the rear brake lever here. I'm going to have to get one of those. It needs front and rear brake cables. The tires, I had these tires on another bike I have over here. I ran those for a little while. That should be okay on this bike for a little while. The tube is bad in this back tire. I have to change the tube. Like I said, the seat's very nasty. I have a seat on the way for the bike. I do plan on removing the rack, removing the seat. I have different shocks. There's one of them there on that. That's going to go on the bike. I'm not too sure I'm going to remove the front fender. More than likely going to. I was thinking about leaving the rear fender, but I was thinking maybe chop it off somewhere through here. A lot of people will take them completely off. I might end up doing that and taking them both off, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, you guys, did a little bit to the Magnum here. Took the side cover off. I've been in here before. I know it's a little rusty. I cleaned the points off right there. They open up, close, working all right. I did check for spark. I'm getting spark. Here it is. Little spark plug in. Boot's pretty gross. You can see some spider webs in it. Some water in it. It's losing spark through that. Got spark through the spark plug wire itself. I'm gonna replace it with this little rubber boot here for now, just to get her working. See how that works out. First startup on the CA50 on this here Magnum. Check for spark. It's got spark. I've been inside the transmission before. I know there's oil in there. It's got a spark plug in it. It doesn't have a carburetor on it. As you can see, I have a little can of stuff here. I'm going to spray a little bit of crap in it and make her pop a couple of times and see what she sounds like. So I'll spray some of this in there first. And she should go. Just like that. Sounds pretty good. I cleaned, reassembled this here 12 Bing carburetor for the Magnum. I got all the pieces for the top over here. Got to find a nice little cable to put in it for now. And we'll fill that bad boy up with some gas and put it back on the bike, crank it up, and see if we can make it idle and rev up a little bit. Alright, you guys, back one more time on the Magnum here. Got the Bing carburetor on there. Got a little funnel over there with a little adapter to a piece of fuel line feeding the carburetors, since the tank's not hooked up right now. Carburetor's clean. Should work just fine. Adapted this little throttle cable onto it for now. And give that guy a couple little tugs. We'll see how she runs. I'll start her up, get her idling, and we'll see how she goes. give it one more try, see what happens. Alright, not too bad. Seems to run. Probably has a tiny little air leak, and it doesn't help that I don't have no filter on it, so it's going to be a little lean, so it's not really wanting to idle. But overall, she's pretty good. Pull the seat off the Magnum here. I have a new seat coming for it. Like I said, I have decided I am going to pull the rack off. I'm going to leave the fender for just now. I'll probably end up pulling that off here soon. A few more little things on the bike. It's got a nice little dent in the header down here. I'm going to pull the header off and heat this up. Try to tap that out. Chain's pretty rusty on them. I end up cleaning all that up. This is all going to come off. This doesn't fit for the bike. There's covers that go here. I do end up planning on putting those covers back on the bike. I don't have them. I'm going to have to source those. But other than that, she's coming along. Got all the bolts out of the fender and rack here. I did decide to take the fender off with the rack. This bolt here was pretty stuck. I had to cut these bolts here. This one down here broke. Old rusty moped, so should just be able to wiggle this guy. All right, break those bolts out of there. Should be able to pry this off of these shock mounts here. That's pretty stuck on there. I'll get back with you after I get all this off. All right, I got the bolts out of that. Got that thing all knocked off here. You gotta just pull it right off. Already undid the wires down there. We'll take this guy and we'll sit him over here by the workbench. I'm gonna organize all these pieces. A lot of these things are hard to find. That rack, pretty nice still. Should be worth a little bit of money. I do plan on keeping that. I might end up putting that back on after I get an original Magnum seat to put back on the bike. Here she is. Stripped down a little bit. I do have a nice little cafe style seat with a little hump that's coming for it. Should look pretty sweet on the bike. I do plan on changing the handlebars, something a little bit lower. Should be a cool little bike. A little update on the Magnum here. As you can see, I got a mess going on with it. I got the cylinder off. I ended up having to beat the cylinder off of this guy. Really didn't want to. I ended up tightening up the head studs, and one of the studs snapped off. As you can see here, the stud's hanging out. So yeah, there was not much I could do getting that guy off of there. So I had to pry on it and beat on it a couple different times to get it to come off, and I finally got it off. And I'm going to show you guys the inside of the crank. Kind of hard to see it there, but it's a little rusty, not too bad. I'm going to soak it in a Vapor Rust. I ordered a lot of parts for this bike. I've ordered new gaskets and chains, cables, new tires, a couple other miscellaneous things. This is all temporary here, just for now. I was running it like that. Another little thing for it is the seat did come in for the bike. Looks pretty good. Not the original Magnum seat, which is super cool and super nice, but I think it fits with the bike fairly well. Flows pretty good. After I change the handlebars and lower them down and a couple other little things, it should be pretty nice. I do have new handlebars coming in for it, new grips, like I say, new cables, several things, new chains, new tires. Should be pretty fun. Alright, got the Magnum on some jack stands. Getting ready to pull the ZA50 off of here. Pretty crusty. I got to clean the flywheel up. The engine cases are pretty disgusting. The whole bike, I want to polish it up pretty good. I want to keep the natural, nasty patina look to it. I mean, you can't find that anywhere. So that should be pretty fun. Like I said, the engine's pretty gross. I will take it off, clean it all up, and get it ready for all the new parts that are coming in for it. On the bench here. She's a little dirty. She's been on there for a long time. I'll show you guys the crank here. It's not too bad. A little rusty. See, pretty good right there. Yeah, bearings are a little bit noisy. There's a bunch of junk in the crank. The bike was running like this. I have rode it around like this. Like I said, it's pretty gross. I'm going to end up rinsing all that out real good and pull off this flywheel. I have a puller coming for that. I'm going to soak this in a Vapo Rust, and I think I'm going to pour some Vapo Rust in the crank and let that sit for a little while, and hopefully eat some of that rust out, and I can rinse it out, and it'll be a lot better than it is. Alright you guys, it's going to be the last update for the Magnum for tonight. Got her all took apart here. Rolling chassis looks pretty good. The seat's growing on me more and more I look at it. Next video you'll see on the Magnum, when I get my parts in, we will start to change the handlebars. We will go over the frame. I'm going to clean the frame up real good. I think I'm going to leave the forks and the gas tank how it is. The frame, I think I'm going to paint it black. We'll see how that turns out.